if you've been thinking that it might be a good time for you to volunteer, right? If you're already registered to vote, you're thinking, what else should I do? Maybe this is an election that's important enough that I should do something. Maybe you've been thinking you should do some phone banking or canvassing door to door. Maybe you've been thinking, I can't really do that, but maybe I should donate. Now is the time. It's less than a month left. It won't do much good if you wait much longer. People are already voting. So now is the time. No matter who your candidate is or what the issue is that you want to work on, it is time to go. It is time to do it. And with time getting this short and the election as close as it is, at this point, honestly, everything matters. I mean, Trump is telling people at his rallies that the Biden administration is refusing to help people affected by the hurricane because it's taken all the disaster money and given all the money to immigrants instead. And that's not even the tiniest bit true. But Trump is making anything and everything in his campaign relate back to immigration, where he is getting darker and darker and darker in the way that he talks about immigrants in order to try to stir up maximum emotion, maximum division among people who are listening to him. Having previously translated from the original German a nice little phrase about how immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country, Trump now is telling people, he recently told the conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt, that immigrants have, quote, bad genes. A little riff that he was doing about immigrants being murderers. He said it's because, quote, I believe this. It's in their genes. And we got a lot of bad genes in our country right now. No pushback on this pronouncement at all during the interview, which is unsettling in itself. But now I guess we have to wait and see if this is going to become a regular riff for Trump, right? Where he talks about what he's going to do to get rid of all the bad genes that we have in this country, right? The people with bad genetics. Is he going to clean that up in our country? Our bad genetics? How many people are we talking about being cleansed for their bad genetics here? J.D. Vance did an interview just earlier this year, 2024, February this year, where he said that he believes, quote, 10% of the population of the United States is, quote, illegal aliens. That means he thinks 33 million people in this country are here illegally. And that's not all. He then said immediately, probably 10% of our population is illegal aliens, and another 15% are in an irregular situation with the law. Think about that for a second. Another 15%. So that means he thinks that 25% of the population of the United States shouldn't be here. They're either straight up illegal or they are in an irregular situation with the law. This is what J.D. Vance describes as America's, quote, terrible migration crisis. 33 million people in America who he says are flat out illegal, and another 50 million who he describes as in an irregular situation with the law. This is the group that Trump says, his running mate says, has bad genes, gives us bad genes in this country. It's 83 million people that J.D. Vance is putting in this category. 1 out of every 4 people in this country that what, gotta go? That you think have bad genetics? 1 out of every 4 people in America is 83 million people. And 83 million people are the crisis that you guys are going to clean up? 83 million people, really? Is it starting to sound like maybe it's too much from these guys? Maybe they're overplaying their hand a little bit here? With time this short and the election as close as it is, everything matters. Here's something else. Donald Trump has not withdrawn his endorsement for the North Carolina Republican candidate for governor, who called himself a Nazi in an online porn forum, who praised slavery, and who has yet to offer any substantive explanation for what appear to be his other many, 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 many lurid, unquotable, prolific posts on porn forums. Trump's endorsement of Mark Robinson stands. Here was Trump's running mate's response. Here was J.D. Vance's response when he was asked about Mark Robinson.
Are you comfortable with Mark Robinson as the Republican nominee for governor in North Carolina?
Well, look, the allegations are pretty far out there, of course, but I know that allegations aren't necessarily reality. And what I'd say is it's ultimately up to Mark Robinson in North Carolina whether he's going to be their governor.
Do you believe him that those were not his posts?
I don't not believe him. I don't believe him. I just think that you have to let these things sometimes play out in the court of public opinion. He's going to make whatever arguments he wants to make.
I don't not believe him. I don't believe him. This will just play out. Called himself a Nazi, praised Mein Kampf, praised slavery. Not exactly courageous, strong stuff from J.D. Vance there on the I am a black Nazi porn site governor candidate.